Alright, good morning from the jungles of Borneo. um, so last time I uploaded something, we were sitting in Jakarta, still Indonesia, talking about the process of jet. And a lot of time has passed since then actually, so now it is middle of June. So in about just over a month we'll all be flying, at least for Group A, we'll be flying into Tokyo for orientation. BOEs have started to contact us. I got a few predecessor emails, which practically I actually haven't read yet. So we are in Kalimantan right now. Kalimantan is the south side of the Borneo Island, so outside of Malaysia, Indonesia. You just call it Borneo, I think, but here, Kalimantan, the south. We came for a 3-day, 2-night boathouse tour to see some of the orangutan conservation, which is gorgeous, and I'm sure there'll be some videos for that somewhere as well. But anyway, just to kind of catch up, so it's 1 week still in Indonesia, of which we're spending about 3 days here in the reserve, which is amazing. Waking up on the river today in the boat was just fantastic. I snuck off a bit early, the others are still asleep. Then it's back, and then we're going to Son Doong in Vietnam for a week. Well, we're going to Vietnam for a week. Son Doong is about 4 days of that. For those who don't know, that's apparently, allegedly, the biggest cave in the world, which I'm also really excited about, although that's a little bit more of an expensive trip, to be honest. And then it's back to South Africa for another 3 weeks or so. Family and friends, a lot of administration to finish. Visas to apply for, driver's license to renew, figure out if my biking license is still valid or not, what will happen if I take it to Japan. But really I think the thing I wanted to mention today was, I wish I had more time off. So, a lot of mosquitoes. So, job finish this week, and then in 2 weeks of travel and 3 weeks of family and admin. I saw a video last week about a Korean lady, I suppose a Korean woman, who's been traveling or cycling around the world since 2012 or something like that, for about 5 years now. She started in America, went down to the South America, across Africa, up, circled through Europe, Middle East, and now she's in Asia. And I mean, what you want to do with your life is very much up to you, but seeing something like that, I definitely have a little bit of inspiration sparking up, thinking, well, maybe I should just kind of get on something and go as well. Although cycling specifically is not my not my biggest passion. I find it a bit uncomfortable after a few hours, but maybe it's because I never really got into it. So in between the previous job, which was very busy this year, but very rewarding as well, and the new one, which I have no idea what to expect yet. Maybe after I finally read my predecessor emails I will. Just a bit of a break, and something I always ask other people to do as well, which is a bit selfish of me to assume that they would be good for them, but taking a bit of a break when you move from one role to another, from one job to another. There's a whole lifestyle that many of us never really get to experience a lot because we don't take time off outside of being employed. It's a luxury being able to have time off, being able to afford time off, being able to take planned time off and not stressing about not having another job to go to. I'm very aware of that. But still, there's absolute magic in, having a lifestyle that doesn't revolve around 9 to 5. And I always wonder about these videos to people just traveling around the world. Yeah, I make so much money on the airplane, and then I go sit on a beach. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that, but definitely taking a few gaps in between is good. Okay, hang on, here's something that might be worth having a look at quickly. Restauratie ecosystem kawasan. So the Indonesian, and I suppose Malaysia to a degree, is almost the same. Natural forests and so forth is very much under threat from palm oil expansion. and mining actually. I didn't even know that. So there are mining operations here as well. And between the two, the mining is actually worse, but the biggest in terms of volume threat is definitely the oil plantation expansion, because they just burn down everything and then they replant oil palm, which is great for industry because we use it in fucking everything. Seriously, try find a product without oil palm in it, but really not good for where it comes from and what it does. And then the mining situation, I'm not an expert, so I'm assuming there are many different types of mining kind of methods, but the one over here just ruins everything. They cut off everything, they dig into the ground, they pollute it into the river, and then when they're finished, like there's nothing left, and nothing like grows up in the same area again. It just looks like a wasteland. So that's not so great. But then again, there's a lot of horrible things around the world, so learn about it, but try not to focus on only that part, otherwise you might not be happy ever again. So yeah, this is absolutely surreal. It's a little bit like living a National Geographic video. Last night on the boat from the first feeding platform, a lot of the orangutans here originally were reintroduced from the wild, and then that exercise was actually stopped. So now the orangutans that come to the feeding platforms are a mix. Some of them are wild, who have started to pick up the habit in the seasons when the food is slightly less, and some are still reintroduced orangutans who are just used to human contact a little bit more and would be comfortable to come eat, which is also a bit of a bizarre situation, because on the one side they need to keep them wild, on the other side the money they make from the tourism come to see, which you need the feeding platforms for. It's a little bit of a catch-22 in the side of the business model, I suppose. But anyway, sorry, after the last platform yesterday, we were sitting on the boat just coming up the river to where we wanted to sleep. And it absolutely is like living inside a National Geographic video. And the awareness that we can find one or two alligator or crocodiles, whichever one is the real one here, in the river. We can see them by their eyes in the dark. Watching the monkeys kind of jump around and starting to go to sleep. Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I think the fact that this lifestyle exists for some people, so our guide, for instance, does this ongoing, that's just fantastic. So coming back to the pre-jet situation, I'm very excited. I have no idea how good it's going to be. Omurashi in Nagasaki, Ken, so in the south, that's where I'm going to go. I've already made contact with some really nice people there, so I'm sure that's going to be lovely. So we'll have to see. I hope it's going to be fun. I found an action cam actually. I bought this as a new cell phone because I had to replace everything, because everything was works possession. So I have an action cam now, but unfortunately the battery's really flat, so I'm running this off the cell phone. But I can use that a little bit over this trip, and we'll see if it's worth making a video from that. Since it's the first time using it, I could also make a complete mess of it, but we'll see. Anyway, so that's it, and apologies for not being in the video, but I actually don't have my shirt on because I just snuck off the boat. So good morning, and thank you for sharing a little bit of this amazingness. If you can ever come here, I would highly suggest it. If you can't, then just enjoy maybe some other people having some videos and things as well.